Thank you for allowing me to provide as much information as I can. Um, I think you may have reviewed some of the history of this neighborhood group, which was really started by a lady by the name of Ida Bland. Uh, Ida and her husband, Butch Bland, she no longer lives in the neighborhood. They moved when they could no longer maintain a residence, and Mr. Bland passed about a year ago. Mrs. Bland is still a very active member of our neighborhood association. What we attempted to do, of course, was to try to help stabilize the neighborhood, try to provide things that seniors could do. At that time, when we started in the late about 1998 or 1999, was to provide activities for seniors, but that's changed now. And of course, some of the things that we were concerned about, of course, as all neighborhoods, not just in urban areas, but it's safety. And particularly when you get old. Um, we headed down that path and we did a number of things, even parades. And we think back now, how do we do all of that? But as we moved over the years, we did walk through the neighborhood, and from that activity, which I think you've seen part of it, or you have the booklet, we became the neighborhood of the year. At that time, that was done by an agency in Kansas City, Missouri. We started a community garden, and I might add that we do a lot of stuff. We're pretty self-sufficient. Because we know that we're going to have to, to get grants to really move in the direction we want to. But we started our garden, and we worked with a group called Youth Build, which is located here. It's a training center for young people who helped us. And we did the garden. We provide foods for our seniors. But then a few years ago, about 5 years ago, we looked at starting strategic planning. So looking what the change in the neighborhood from basically African Americans to now it's probably at least 50% Hispanic. And far as young people, I would say it's about 90% Hispanic. And that provides, don't want to call it a problem, but it's very difficult for us to get the Hispanic community to interact. The children, you see them, they wave, you talk to them. It's very difficult. So we need assistance in trying to communicate with them, making them aware of our goals. We understand the culture is different. We understand the history may not be as important to them that we have now as it is to, may not be as important to the Hispanic community as it is to African Americans. But we need to figure out a way to integrate all of that together. And but when we started strategic planning, we had the assistance of an urban planner from UMKC who was very, very helpful. We did establish priorities. We've done our first one, which was a major project in Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. They do not voluntarily do sidewalks and curbs, but we were able to go to the commissioners meeting and a program was made available, and so we approached our commissioner. So we had our first priority completed, which is a 1200 block on Everett. We put sidewalks and curbs on one side of the street, which this may not seem like much, but it was a great accomplishment. Our second priority is our youth. We have acquired 5 vacant lots, and we see our children now as we see our children playing in the streets. So we want to try to interact with them to say, what would you like? It's very difficult, and we should not plan for young people. What would you like to see? What can we do? But once we, I guess, or find out just what they want to do, then we've got to figure out some kind of way to do it. But we need the assistance of Black Your Class to help us to interact with the children to help us develop plans, to tell us what we want to do for our neighborhood. Some of us have some lofty goals and lofty ideas. One of our vacant lots sits up on a hill. And last year was cutting it and I said, well, it's two things. We'd like to have a fruit orchard. And of course, I won't be around here to see it when the fruit tree grows, but I've been programmed to think at least 20 years ahead. So 20 years from now, I'll be 103, and I'll still see the fruit orchard. The other thing I'm saying, what if we start a theater? And that's really way out there, up on the hill, and kind of, maybe they want to do a play. Maybe, and not only just for this neighborhood, but maybe people from all over the city can come here, which would attract people back here. The long-range goal, what I would like to see is that in this area, particularly on Washington Boulevard, our part of the neighborhood, Washington Boulevard from 10th to 13th, there are some very, very lofty homes like the one here. The homes really from 9th and Washington Boulevard to, from 8th and Washington Boulevard to 13th and Washington Boulevard were all built by African Americans. They built these homes. They did not, like many other neighborhoods, moving homes after other people had moved out. These homes were actually built by the people. So it's really where the name Struggles Hill came from, because they said this was called the hill from 9th Street to 13th. If you lived up on the hill, you were struggling. But it's all along Washington Boulevard. It would almost be tragic in this city if these homes were torn down or destroyed, or the history is lost. So we need some assistance in getting some of these things done to move people back into the area, not just along Washington Boulevard, and not just in Struggles Hill area, but throughout this whole area. And if you can do some positive things, then we want to be the catalyst to see that this is done. So we need some people who can think ahead, can project, and assist us with that.
Now, where are your vacant lots?
Pardon?
Do you know the location of your vacant lots? The
Yes.
location?
Yes. We have 1112 to 1118 Everett. And the 1100 block on Everett is the worst block in our area. And then we own 1131 Everett. Where our community garden is, we don't own those lots. We took them over in 2007, and because it was horrible what was happening. Actually, the people who live next door finally moved, so we just took it over and did a garden, cleaned it off. But we're going to try to see if we can acquire those, because we've kept it and maintained our garden there since 2007. But we just need help. We're doing a website. We have the fellow who's assisting us, and we're paying him. It's not anything free. We paid him as much as what he asked for, and he certainly gave us a great deal. We need help with you all, or young people, in the computer and keeping the website going, looking for information to put on the website. We might add that the guy who does this, his name is Scott Lemon, and I can't think of the title as Google, but there are only 42 of them in the whole world. He's one of them. So there may be some things that he can assist the class in looking at on the website.